All right, Boone, obviously great to get back into the win column there against Detroit. Mood in the room a little bit better going into this one against the Rangers now?
Well, yeah, I think we just played the right way. We played simple, fast, predictable, and able to create a lot of offense off that. And they had a push there in the third, but obviously the way we closed it out, we liked. And we got to bring that same intensity as we keep going here.
How bad were you itching to get back in the lineup? I mean, it had been, about a month for you since you'd played a game, so it felt pretty good to get back out there, I assume?
Yeah, big time. It was a month. It always feels longer, but you want to be out there and just try to, keep yourself in shape and stay around the team as much as you can. And, was able to heal up pretty quick and get back out there. So pretty happy to be back with the guys.
Were there any adjustments that you had to make in that game? Did it feel weird getting back into the swing of things, or you felt pretty comfortable out there?
I mean, it's always, coming back when you're missing that time, jumping right back into it. You want to get your timing back and, the pace, as far as the games go, it's definitely ramped up from practices. And the first couple shifts feels, you're all amped up and feels quick, but it settled in pretty good.
Brad Larsen talked about it after that game in Detroit, and you mentioned the third period for you guys. You haven't had the lead in the third period a whole lot this season, so maybe it was uncharted territory trying to finish a game like that, but you feel like you guys did a pretty good job. I know they push, but the way that you guys locked it down in those final 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, I mean, they get one, kind of a luckier one, and, the building was rocking. They got some momentum, and they're going to have their push. And, a couple plays that we would maybe want back there and got them right back into it quick. But after that, I think we settled ourselves, and guys were blocking shots, getting the pucks out and battling for each other. And it was 5-6 minutes there where they were coming. But I liked our finish, like I said.
Shifting focus to this one against the Rangers, you guys have already played them once this season. You beat them 5-1 at Madison Square Garden. They'll obviously be motivated coming into this game against you guys. They're a team that has a lot of offensive firepower. What sort of challenges do the Rangers present?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. They're pretty dynamic with some players they have, and they can make you pay if you're not sharp as far as coverages and the odd man rushes and things like that. So very skilled team and very, very good team that's pushing here. So we're just gonna have to focus on our game, have the same intensity and focus that we had there in Detroit, and bring it in tonight.
You haven't played a game here at Nationwide Arena since December 11th, so been over a month for you. How excited are you to get back in front of the fans here in Columbus? Yeah,
very excited. It's the best building to play in, and the fans have been with us, all year and supporting us. So very excited to go back out there and play in front of them. I'm sure it's going to be a fun building tonight.
Thanks very much for this, Boone, and good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
Brad, how big of a lift do you get out of a road win like that? It had been a while. Did you feel a more peppy bunch in the room this morning?
Yeah, winning solves a lot, right? Puts you in a better mood, and then you got a day off, you get to enjoy it. Yeah, I think it helps, but like I told these guys, it's one game, right? And the third, they get a nice bounce for their first goal, gives them a little bit of life score, and then, we're scrambling a bit. And it's not surprising. We haven't been in that position very much this year at all, 4-0 going to third, and you're on the road, and they get one like that. We started the period just fine. I had no issues with how we started, and then, they got some life. So now learning how to handle that, and that's hopefully we're in that situation more.
How difficult is the decision to scratch Cole Sillinger?
Yeah, it's, this is part of his growth. Last year we've had many conversations, and what I think of Cole. I think he's got a tremendous future with the organization. I don't think it's gone nearly as well as he had hoped. And this is part of the growth of a young man. He's 19. He's things went pretty smooth last year, and we don't talk about the downs last year because he had plenty of those too. But statistically, it went well, and he ended up with 16 and 30 points and whatever it was. So sometimes, especially with a young guy, you start chasing the production a little bit, and things can slip in your game. And I think with him, he's got the right mindset. He's going to work himself out of this. He's going, we're going to help him through it, and I expect him when he comes back, and he's going to be hungry.
Do you see tangible differences in his game this year from last year? Anything you can
In what respect?
highlight? Just when you watch him play, does it look differently to you this year than it did last year?
He looks like a less confident player to me. Like last year he had some swagger, and with production usually comes swagger. When you don't score, sometimes you overthink it. You freeze. The pucks that are going off your tape usually are right on your tape, and you settle that puck. How many times he's maybe coming down the wing, he gets a pass and it just rolls off the end of his stick. And so those are the things that eat at you as a player, and scorers like to score. And if you don't, it's hard to find confidence. And so I think that's, again, he doesn't have 10 years in the league to pull experience from. And it's not just about him, it's our team in general. There's been a lot of adversity, let's put it that way, with injuries and different things. So you don't have the personnel to maybe surround a guy and different things. So guys have been in some tough situations this year. And he's a guy that it's been tough. Lots of hockey left, though.
Are you making any lineup changes today?
No.
And on the one line I see out there, Marchenko, Johnson, that line, what have you seen from them? I know maybe you lost them a little bit late in that game. Have you liked what you've seen from them?
Yeah, I didn't lose them. How the game went, I was leaning on a little bit of some veteran guys. That's what it was. And I don't think they played a horrible game. He was fighting for some matchups there early that I was trying to get away from, and that's why I did it. He was cutting his line a little bit too at the end. So, again, you lean on some of these older guys. I had Boone back in the lineup, which was great to have, a veteran guy, and they're pushing, right? They get it to 4-2, and now the squeeze is on a little bit. Thing about KJ in the face-off circle, it hasn't been one of his fortes, so that hurts him a little bit. And so, no, I think when they were out there, they were pretty good. I don't know if it was Bemmer's best night, but I think Marchenko and KJ were pretty good, and I think that line can be dangerous. I think there's something there with him.
Brad, you talked about having the right guys around players in situations like that. Just having veteran leadership back with Boone. You get Robbie back. You get Nick Blankenberg back. Mm-hmm. Not a veteran guy, but a guy who certainly played some minutes for you. How does that help you?
Yeah, I don't think Blanks. I put him in the veteran status, but if you're going to put compete and effort and those intangibles, yeah, he checks a lot of those boxes, right? Like he's all in on everything, almost to a fault at times. But Boone, he's your captain, and we've talked it to death that point about what he brings, and it's he doesn't score. Last game he doesn't. I don't think he gets any points, but I think he impacted the game in a lot of ways. Just how he played, his forechecking, his tracking, his face-offs. So again, this is a great lesson for our young guys. Cole Sillinger is a great example how you can impact that game, and doesn't have to be with goals and assists. And Boone does that. He does it not just. He's a mature player now. We've missed him dearly in the last month, and it was great to have him back in our lineup.
Jack Roslovic, very noticeable the other night. You mentioned he's up and down. Where do you put him right now in terms of where his game is, his all-around game?
Yeah, I think their line was feeling it early. Listen, any top line that scores early, they usually start feeling it. He has the turnover in the third period there that I wish it didn't happen. I think he's trying to make the right play, just indirected up to Patty, and it doesn't happen. But, he could have scored 2 or 3 himself. But the line was dangerous, and that's what we need. We need that line to be going, then we can get Boone's line going, and then start to get some depth and some guys that, hopefully put the puck in more consistently.
When Boone went out, Johnson went into the middle. Now that Jenner's back, you've kept Johnson in the middle. Is that a sign you like where Johnson is, and do you commit to him being there the rest of the year?
No, I'm not committed fully for that. I think, it's going to be a game-by-game thing. Now, if we get more depth in the center, at some point, Silly's going to get back in. So, that's 5 centermen. That doesn't work, right? So someone's going to have to go to the wing, and we'll make that decision. And, again, like I said, once we get more healthy bodies, this is the first time in a while we got a few extra healthy bodies, accountability goes up, and certain guys that think they've been in there for a while may not stay in. So we'll see. I think with KJ, there's a lot of stuff I do like. There's some stuff he certainly needs to work on, but again, first year in the league, he's figuring out, not only first year, but he's learning how to play that position. It's not that he hasn't played center, but the last 2 years in Michigan he was, and now learning it here, it's a tough role.
You mentioned Blankenberg being all in almost to a fault sometimes. Have you had any conversations with him about picking his spots a little more in that way?
Yeah, but how do you teach that, right? Like that's the thing. I talked about it with Steve McCarthy. If I tell him not to do that, then he's probably not the player, right? It's such a hard thing to coach out of him, and I don't really want to, if that makes sense. But I want him to play every game. So he's not a big guy, but he plays like he's 6'5". He plays like he's Gabranson the size, like that's how he plays. But he's assertive on his toes. One of his best gifts is his ability to take in information on the ice. He does. He reads the play really well, and so he pops some guys that don't think he's coming, and he's there. But he executes, and He's a guy. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to coach that, where I can get him to be maybe a little bit more safer is the word. I don't. Safe as death too. You've heard that how many times, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I love how he plays. I love that he attacks the game all over, and so we're gonna have to find that line somewhere because I want him in the lineup.
Yeah, and Sillinger, you don't want him sitting for a long period of time. Better to play. How are the conversations going there, making sure that he gets the playing time that he needs?
Well, he's out again tonight, but the conversations are going really well. And what we're talking about, what we're discussing, again, he's still a young man. He's growing, and this is his first taste of it. And it's interesting how our conversation went and talking about it and looking at the game from a different perspective. I think this is going to serve him well. I do. He's like I said, I don't worry about him. I don't. I think he's got a tremendous future with this organization. This is a little bump in the road.